Yo, what's going on, y'all? It is your boy Cam from Tweeking Media, and I got the boy Trail Sav on here.
Yeah.
And we are back with another attack on culture. This should be episode 10, if I'm not mistaken. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to catch up on. So, but before we get into all of that, be sure to follow us on our socials. We are on Facebook at Tweeking Media, TikTok at Tweeking Media, YTM Clips as well, and Twitter at Attack on Culture. All of the links will be in the description box below, so check us out on those socials. Follow us there too. We'd highly appreciate it. And before we get into the actual podcast itself, be sure to show this video some love, like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Click on that bell icon to stay notified of all future posts on this channel, and share this video across all of your nerd friends. Help us combat the YouTube algorithm. You guys have been showing a ton of support lately on our videos, and we highly appreciate that. So keep it going and help us grow and help us keep going and doing what we do best. So we have some things to look out for. If you are here from Gacha on the Gacha, appreciate you. Hopefully you stick around. I have some other stuff that's coming out this week, so this video will probably go out on a Tuesday. So Wednesday, I have two videos that I'm planning on dropping for Gacha on the Gacha. One being for my Honkai Star Rail people, and another one being for my Nikkei peeps. So be on the lookout for that. I've also just dropped yesterday a video for Wuthering Waves, first anniversary patch that just dropped. So check that out if you're interested after you're done with this video, of course. And we also have something going on for Views from the Couch. It'll kind of tie into what we're talking about for our main discussion, so be prepared and be on the lookout for that. And with all that being said, guys, let's go on and get started into what's been going on in our world. I'll let Datrell lead with what he's been doing lately. So, Trail, go ahead, let us know what's been going on your side of the corner.
Yeah, man, it's been it feels like forever since we recorded, but nothing really changed whatsoever for me. I've been trying to watch some new things that involves anime and stuff like that. I don't even know if I said I was gonna watch the Devil May Cry thing. I didn't get past episode 1. Not saying it's a bad show, just didn't get past episode 1. But I did play a lot of new games. One of them is Blueprints. Recently, before it got dethroned, was the highest rated game of the year on Metacritic, and it deserves that praise. It's a really, really good game. It has by far the worst RNG in the history of any roguelike puzzle. It has the worst. The game will make you feel like you are the worst person in the world. But it's a really good game. I love game that makes your brain like pump, because this game makes you do decisions and stuff like that. You ain't got to be smart to play it, but it will help. And it's really fun. You can get countless playthroughs. There's days in the game because you got to get to the certain room and you got a certain amount of steps, and you can make dead ends and stuff like that. And if you lose out on your steps, or if you get caught in like a bunch of dead ends, you got to restart the day. So it starts from day 1 all the way until you get to the next room. I didn't get to the room 46 or beat the game or the first part of the game, because you got to beat the game a bunch of times until like day 52. So it took a while. But other than that, it's a great game. The theme of this episode is going to be expand your horizon. So whenever we talk about stuff, just expand your horizon on your video games. Try new things. You ain't got to get jiggy with everything, but at least try it. And I think that's. Oh, so Cam in the beginning was talking about how he's working on something. I also been in the chamber working on something. Nowhere near ready yet. Unfortunately, when it's a personal video, I deal with the perfection thing. And even though the Courage of Calorie Dog episode told us as we was kids that we're not perfect, I struggle with trying to be perfect. But I do have a video. I'm gonna try to get it done as soon as possible. It is going to be a a Pokemon randomizer. I'm gonna go through red all the way until whatever Nintendo Ninja stop letting us use emulators. Um, so I'm a get that out for y'all. It's just taking a long time, and I you will see with the video. It's a reason why it's just not episodic. A lot of stuff happens within like the first 3 seconds, and I have to keep going. So, but I would say, pray for the boy, but everybody don't believe in the same thing I believe in. So, but just be on the lookout. It's a lot of work. By far, the hardest thing I have ever tried to do is deal with that, and I don't even know why it's hard. Pause. But other than that, man, looking forward to the amazing games that's about to come out in the future. It's about to get real lit this summer, and man, it's about to be fun. But that's it for me.
Yeah. So as you see, we got a lot of good quality content on the way for y'all. So make sure y'all stay posted. We doing it big here at Tweeking Media. But as for me, this happened a while ago, but I still wanted to touch base on it because it's something that's big in the nerd culture. But C2E2 happened earlier this April. Got a chance to go with some of the homies from the PlayStation party. Had a really good time. In case you guys don't know or unaware, C2E2 is basically Chicago's big annual Comic-Con, nerd, anime, all that type of stuff. It's from Friday to Saturday. Usually, I think they usually always do it within like the April or March time frame. So I went Sunday because Sundays usually where a lot less people are. It's the last day of the event. A lot less people are there. And also I mainly go there to spend to buy a bunch of stuff. And that's when people are usually a lot more generous when it comes to buying, letting you get stuff from there. So I went out with a decent haul. I think I posted some pictures in some of our recent Gacha on the Gacha videos. Might put them up on the socials as well. So be on the lookout for that. But it's really cool. I mean, it was this one, I swear if they had that statue available, I would have gotten it. It was a figurine of Judy from Cyberpunk 2077. And
they teased you, dog.
In that figurine, oh God, it was elite. It was probably the best looking figurine I've seen there since I got teased that one year where they had dropped, I think it was Cammy, Chun-Li, and I want to say it was Jury. It was like a figurine of them doing like bench presses. That was a fire figurine, but this one was just high quality stuff. I swear, if it was available, I would have gotten it. It was $900, but I would have spent it. It's worth it. It's high quality, and I love high quality figurines. That's usually what I go for. The biggest goal for me was getting a good Gear 5th Luffy statue figurine. I managed to walk away with 2 of some high quality ones. Got me some waifu figurines, of course. Got some One Piece Wanted posters. I managed to pick up the first volume. You can probably see it on my windowsill right there. Well, you can't see it, but it's there. But the first volume of Part 6, Stone Ocean. So I'm really happy about that. So it was great. I cosplayed. I don't know if you can tell, my hair is slightly dyed. I cosplayed as the boy Goku Black Rose. So I enjoyed myself. I got to nerd out, got to, hang out with some of the people, be amongst my crowd. And so if you're ever in the Chicago area and for some reason you haven't heard of C2E2, definitely be on the lookout. Go next year, experience what your people experience and things of that nature. So on to that, going on to what I've been watching. So it's been usually, it's a 3-episode rule. Technically, it's 4 episodes now. But I have my current anime. I call them weeklies. So these are the animes that I watch on a week-to-week basis that I'm going to continue to watch until the summer season ends. But the ones that have survived the anime culling of my criteria for if I'm going to continue watching your show or not. One is Can a Boy Girl Friendship survive? This is, as you can tell, it's the premise. 2 friends, boy and a girl. Honestly, the premise falls apart by like episode 3. Like you can clearly tell that these people, like the latest episode that happened, and I'll be brief with this because I don't want to yap on too much. Latest episode, the female gets mad because the main character, he makes accessories. He chose another girl to be like his main model. She got mad, threatened to move to Tokyo, and so the boy was about to drop out of school to go to Tokyo with her. Friends don't do that. Friends don't do that. So they clearly like each other, but they're doing the typical rom com BS where it's like they don't talk a lot. They don't talk about their feelings, and we probably got to wait until episode 12 or 11 for them to admit that to each other that they like each other. So that's that. Another one is Black Butler, the Emerald Witch Saga. I've been a huge fan of Black Butler since the first season. I think this is technically season 5, I believe. Really interesting. It's a mystery, kind of takes place in like the kind of the witch hunt era of like Victorian England society, and they're dealing with like this mysterious murders by these like viruses, and they call it the werewolf curse. It's really interesting. Looking forward to seeing how it is. It's a bit of a slow burn, so nothing really too crazy has been happening, but they're leading up to something, and which is usually what Black Butler does. So be on the lookout for that. Kulon Generic Romance is another one. This is another rom-com that I said, but this is like a mystery rom-com. Very interesting premise where essentially there's the main male lead and the main female lead. The main female lead basically has no memories of her past and finds out, and she's in love with the main male lead. They work in this real estate company. She finds a picture of him with her, but she has no memory of it. So obviously she wants to know, like, were they together in the past? And so it's kind of like they're setting this up as like I don't know if it's like amnesia or some clone theory. It's a lot of crazy stuff. Like this past episode, like there's a lot of theories that I have as far as like what the hell is happening. But it's very interesting watch. So I guess if you're a fan of mystery with a little bit of rom-com, definitely recommend you check it out. Witch Watch, I talked about this in our previous podcast video, but this is basically Netflix literally says that this is essentially Gintama but with witches. So like you get the wacky parody shenanigans. Like this, the anime does not take itself seriously. It kind of does at certain points, but like most of the time it's just it's comedy. And so if you're somebody who's interested in that, it is funny. The premise is basically there's this witch who goes off to training. She comes back, and the main character, who is an oni, is asked to be her familiar to protect her from some disaster that's going to befall her in a year's time. And she also has a crush on the main character, and she also loves to like use her magic to do like some wacky shenanigans. So if you're a fan of that, if that sounds interesting to you, recommend that as well. Windbreaker season 2 is still going, and it's really good. They're about to shift over to, I guess, the second part of season 2, which has to deal with one of the captains of Bufording, the trans character. So I know for all you anti-woke people, you're going to be mad. Oh well, it's a good arc that I've read. I've read everything that happens in season 2 in the manga, and I enjoy it. So be on the lookout for that. Hands will be thrown, but it will be hands with a plot attached to it, not just hands being thrown. And it's really good. Fire Force season 3, of course, is still currently ongoing. Last episode is, I don't know what's gonna happen. I haven't read the manga. I know certain things that happen in the manga, but I don't know much that's going on in this current arc. But the way the last episode ended, it looks like it's gonna be some emotional stuff going on for next week. So I'm looking forward to that. Yaiba Samurai Legends is still really good. It's probably, I would say, my second favorite of this season for all the anime I've been watching. It escalated really quick too. Like it started off as like him just beating people up at the school, and then all of a sudden his main rival character picks up this sword, becomes a demon, and took over the prime ministry of Japan and now wants to kill the main character. It's so like
sounds legit.
It's kind of, that's why it reminds me of Dragon Ball, because it started off as like, let's go collect the Dragon Balls, and now it's like, okay, now go fight this army, Goku. So it's but it's been very good. Animation has been freaking solid, and a lot of I'm enjoying the plot so far. It's simple but effective. And my current favorite anime that is out right now by far, it's actually on Adult Swim, and it comes out later on Max, is Lazarus. For those who don't know,
Popping like that.
Yeah, I like this is a really good show. So for people who don't know, this is a sci-fi anime created by the same person who made Cowboy Bebop. So you can tell, I mean, even from the oh my god, that intro opening, so good. I had to download the full thing on my playlist. It is really good. But the premise is basically there's this doctor who creates this drug called Hapina, which is like this pain reliever thing, but people use it to get high because they call it this happiness pill. It allows them to escape the troubles of the real world. So he developed it. 3 years later, he's gone missing for 3 years. He comes back and he makes an announcement going like, "I've given up on humanity. You guys suck." Plot twist: the drug that you've been taking, it's a mutated virus in there, and you're all gonna die in 30 days unless you find me. I have the cure, and so you have to come and find me if you want to save humanity, or else everybody who took that drug is gonna die in 30 days. So the main character, so it's basically a bunch of ragtag misfits who are tasked with finding the good doctor and hopefully finding a cure before humanity is wiped out from getting high. So this, but it's really good. I've been enjoying it. Animation is solid. The OST, oh my! If you're a fan of swing jazz and blues, oh man, it's so good. So yeah, this is by far my favorite anime for this season, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So on to what I've been playing. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the main thing that me and Datrell have been playing, but there's another game that actually came out the exact same. No, actually, I don't know if I want to clown Spike Chunsoft, the publishing company, or I want to clown Steam. Somebody's getting clowned because the game was supposed to come out the 23rd. On Steam, it said this game is releasing on April 23rd. And so I'm prepared. I'm like, all right, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's play it. It doesn't come out on April 23rd. It comes out midnight of April 24th. So y'all some clowns. Because now I'm like, okay, now I got to balance this game out with Expedition. And I got it's too much. But I have been playing. I'm about, I want to say like 5 or 6 hours into the 100 line Last Defense Academy. So I can give a little brief impressions of what it's like. For those who don't know, this is made by the same development studio that's behind Danganronpa, which is another one of my favorite like niche murder mystery visual novel type games. This game is more so, it's not murder mystery. Essentially, the premise is that the main character is whisked away. They live in this thing called the Tokyo Residential Complex, which is a dome that protects them against the outside world. The main character has no idea what the outside world is like. He doesn't even know what rain is like. It's everything is kind of put in the same pattern. And so one day monsters break in, about to kill everybody. This mascot appears and says, "Hey, if you want to fight these things, take this knife and stab it into your heart, get superpowers and fight them," which is what he does. After he does, he gets recruited to go to this school called Last Defense Academy. And the purpose is to drive off invaders, because if the invaders get into the school and infiltrate, there's this thing that is, if the invaders get their hands on it, it'll wipe out all of humanity. Don't know what it is. They haven't told us yet, at least where I am in the game yet. They haven't dropped that yet. But it's an interesting premise. It is essentially, I was going to say when I was ruminating on how I should, equate this game to, it's like Persona, but like strategy RPG, but there's already a strategy RPG Persona game, Persona 5 Tactica. But it basically is it's a strategy RPG with a lot of elements of kind of like that Persona daily social life simulation type thing, where like, you have to decide who to hang out with. They level up some certain stats, which allow you to level up certain abilities and weapon skills and things like that. It's interesting. I'd say, like, again, if you are a fan of Danganronpa, if you played that series, if you play some of his the other works that they came out with, like World End Club, and also I think it was Master Detective Archives Rain Code, you will enjoy this game. One thing I will give immediate praise for is, thank God, Spike Chunsoft, please, whenever you release these games, don't make them Switch exclusive. Because the reason why World Ends Club and I think Rain Code was not as successful as they wanted it to be is because for some reason you released it on that, try not to swear like Datrell, that piece of crap, archaic trash system known as the Switch. So I'm really glad that you took the initiative for this round and decided to make it a multi-plat, because as soon as I saw that this game was available for Steam, I was like, yeah, I'm not. But one thing also that I'm happy to announce is that this game has been doing very well. I've been seeing a ton of articles saying that the game reached, like, I think it was 10,000 concurrent players on Steam. And for some people going like, well, that's not a lot. Like Datrell said, y'all need to play more video games. For a game like this that is very niche, this is a very niche game for a very niche crowd. 10,000 concurrent players on Steam is really freaking good. And so I'm hoping that like Chungsoft takes this and we continue to get more games from this development studio, because I love the art style. OST is fire, and I always love to see what kind of wacky scenarios that these guys come up with for the plot. So that's it for 100 Line Last of Us Academy. I'm not doing a review. There's so many. I'm too busy. Can't do it. So this is all you're getting. But on to another thing. So there's 2 movies that have come out recently that I've had the opportunity to see that I want to give some brief impressions on, because they've been big. Well, one of them has been big. I don't know about the other one, but one of them being Sinners. So I went to go see this movie opening weekend. A lot of people are saying this is like a horror movie. I if you know me, I do not like horror. Can't do horror. Whatever you guys consider as like, I can watch those movies and be fine. I couldn't. And I went into that movie and there wasn't really any huge horror elements that I noticed out the film. There was like some cheap jump scares, but that was pretty much it. It was kind of like a slow burn kind of thriller situation. But I really I feel like this movie, the perfect way I can surmise this movie is that this is a movie where where people say like, oh, I got to go see this movie again. This is one of those movies where it really does, like, you kind of really want to have to see this movie twice to kind of get everything that the movie's trying to tell you. Like, you go once for the and then you go once another time for the aha moment is how I would kind of phrase that. And so there's a lot of like social commentary stuff about this movie. I could go on about that, but you're not here for that, and I don't want to talk about that stuff. We're not movie critics. I just saw the movie because it looked at Ryan Coogler is a great director. Michael B. Jordan is a great actor. Haley Steinfeld is a great actress, and everybody played their roles absolutely perfect. This is a great movie. Great that the thing that like I loved, and you could tell that like I'm trying to phrase this right. You can tell who really is for the culture by how they react to that one movie scene in the movie where Sammy, who's one of the main characters in the movie, is playing this piece, and it cuts to showing people showing old folk dances, and cuts to beatboxing and hip hop and stuff like that. Like, it shows an evolution of music throughout Black culture, Asian culture, things like that, and it all culminates into this one like really cool piece. You can tell who really is of the culture and who really knows about hip hop culture and Black and how much music has an impact on Black culture by how they react to that scene. That's all I'm gonna say. I've seen some really, I'm trying to be nice, I've seen some interesting takes, to say the least, on how some people view that scene. But overall, it is a really good movie. I highly recommend. It's really hard to explain the movie. It's one of those movies you really have to go out and see and experience for yourself. But yes, go see it if you can. If you can't, arg it up. That's all I'm saying. You have anything to add, Datrell? Because I know you said you wanted to go see the movie.
Go see it. I really ain't got as much to add, other than go see it. We need more people to see movies like this, so we can stop getting slopped from other big studios. I'm not gonna go there. Which I heard that movie that's coming out this weekend is a banger. I heard it's a banger.
So I think you're referencing Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I heard it's a banger.
I'm seeing that, so I'm gonna go be seeing that opening day. So I will let you guys know Uh,
I
Marvel, they say Marvel's restoring the feeling. We shall see. But yeah, so that's it for Sinners. And then the movie I saw, I've actually been to the movie. This like seeing Thunderbolts is going to be 4 weeks in a row because I went to go see it was amateurs, then it was Sinners, then it was um amateurs, Sinners, then this movie, which is The Accountant 2, and then this week is going to be Thunderbolts. So AMC has been taking a lot of money from my pockets. Shout out to that membership though. But the next movie I saw is The Accountant 2. So this came out this past weekend. This is obviously a sequel to The Accountant, which is available on Prime Video. So if you have Prime, I highly recommend you check out The Accountant. It's really good. It's basically neurodivergent John Wick. Ben Affleck did a great job. He like I was so used to his weird Batman that it's interesting to see him in a role like this. But he really does nail the role. This is honestly, and we'll get into this when it comes to Nuance. This is one of my favorite. This is also I have this tied with Sinners as currently my favorite movie of the year. And I know some people are gonna go like, but Sinners, it gets you thinking. And it's like, well, I mean, two things can be true, you know. I enjoy movies where I can go and go like, man, oh man, complexity, human existentialism, and the meaning of life, and social commentary. But sometimes I like movies where it's chitty chitty bang bang. You feel me? Like I just want, like that's why John Wick is probably still my favorite movies franchise of all time because I just like movies like that. It's cool. So I have my deep social commentary Sinners movie, and I have my shoot people, kill people movie with The Accountant 2. I was not ready for how funny this movie is. Like where I went to, the theater was like bursting out laughing. There was so many funny scenes in this movie. Shout out to I don't know his name, but he's the guy who played the Punisher in the Punisher series. He did a great job. He was funny as hell. But yeah, it was a great movie. Highly recommend you go see it. If you haven't seen it, the first movie, it is on Prime. Most of you Americans that I know have Amazon Prime, so you can go see The Accountant. So check out the first movie. If the first movie clicks with you, go see the second movie. And that's pretty much it, I think, for what we've been reading, and I'm not reading, what we've been watching and what we've been playing. So let's go ahead and hop onto the news, where we have one of the biggest things that happened this past week was Switch 2 pre-orders. So if you don't know, after the tariff situation, Nintendo came out and said, "Hey, we're keeping the Switch the same price, $450, $500 with the Mario Kart World bundle, and pre-orders are going to be dropping." They said the pre-orders are going to drop April 24th for retailers, obviously. So we'll get into the clownness that is Nintendo later, but for retailers, so Best Buy, GameStop, Target, and I believe Walmart, they had separate times. So the articles that I've read said that they were coming out like 11 o'clock, but I didn't see because I got mine through, I'm Nintendo's favorite cash cow. I buckled, but it's for content. But I got the Mario Kart bundle through Best Buy, and I didn't see the pre-order link for Best Buy until like 12:30. But I did like how Best Buy handled this. I heard that I've heard a lot of different things about people's experiences trying to get it for Target and all this other stuff, and GameStop. But I liked how Best Buy basically was like, if you have an account, they review your account, they put you in this queue, and then once you go through the queue, you have 10 minutes to pre-order the item, and if not, tough luck. So right now, currently, I don't know how. If you are interested in still getting a Switch 2, I don't know what the space is looking like. I think GameStop said that they are accepting. There are still some GameStops that are accepting in-store pre-orders, so you can no longer get one online. But if you go to your local GameStop, you should be able to pre-order a Switch 2. But a lot of places are probably sold out at this point. I mean, it's a high demand system, highly anticipated system, which goes into my point that I wanted to make, which is Nintendo. Why are you shocked that your highly demanded system, people want it? So if you are one of those few poor souls who registered for to getting your Nintendo Switch 2 through their official online store, where you got to prove your loyalty to Daddy Nintendo by being a good little boy and having the Switch online membership for, I think it was like 12 months and a minimum of 50 hours played last year, I believe. So if you were able to prove your loyalty to Papa Nintendo by being a good little Switch boy, then they would, get you registered to be able to. They'll give you a link later on to buy it through their store. Nintendo came out and basically said, yeah, so we may not be able to do that for you guys because we weren't anticipating people buying our system, which makes no sense. So essentially, if you were banking on getting your Nintendo Switch through that, you may not even be able to get it before the June 6th release date. They said that you probably about to get it later, which is a big clown on Nintendo. Has been really bad with this rollout. I know we like to say Sony and Xbox was bad, but Nintendo, come on now, dog. You weren't prepared for this. It makes no sense. But what are your thoughts on this, Datrell?
I think in my adulthood, I really been blessed with not expecting anything. I do expect great things, like for my life, for people's futures and stuff like that. But I don't expect things from other people. I always expect I might get let down by other people. So with Nintendo, I didn't expect like anything for that whole rollout to actually go good, to tell you the truth. And I didn't think it was going to be that bad until I saw a tweet. What's his name? Jeff Keighley. He said he had a hard time trying to get the Switch. I was like, you supposed to have a plug. Like,
it's supposed to be like, hey, we got you covered, my boy.
Yeah, you supposed to have what's the name of the joint? But so I wasn't too shocked. But I do want to say this: Nintendo touted a lot on the Switch, saying that it's one of the most bought systems, comparable to the PS2. And Sony totes a lot about the PS2 sales and stuff like that too. A lot of it's kind of like shady to an extent because a lot of PS2s got circulated like this. So a lot of people, whole different conversation for a different time. But if you know that your Switch is comparable to the Wii and the PS2, two of the biggest selling systems of all time, kind of should have saw what was gonna happen. I don't know if they took internet outcry and the terrorist situation as law, but and I'm gonna get into this later. But Nintendo, I want to let you know something. Even though I don't agree with it, but the internet complains just to complain. I agree with that, with them saying this stuff costs too much money. Made a whole deal about it. Somebody called me broke. I'm gonna find you. But the internet just gonna complain and then put it in a shopping cart. It is what it is.
This is the coin, the term that I've coined. C2P. Complain to play. To complain to pay.
I remember the only time, and I think Sony is the most unluckiest gaming company of all time. People might talk about Xbox, but they got Microsoft behind them. The only time people didn't buy a console when it cost too much money was that damn PS3. That was the only time. But other than that, now people just going to buy it. People don't want to FOMO. It's people who PS5s collecting dust, and they had them joints day one. Yep. But they bought it just so they didn't, have
so
FOMO.
So they can post on social media. Yeah. I got it. And never touch it again.
Yeah. So, but I part of me is like really happy to see a lot of people get their system. Part of me is laughing to see same dudes who are saying, "Hey, you broke, you ain't gonna be able to get this." It's the same one. I'm not broke, but it's the same niggas who don't got the system too. So we both in the same boat. But it's just all funny. But hopefully once more stuff. Oh, let me scratch this whole entire thing. Forgot to say this. Though the Switch 2 console wasn't that much money, they put all the other
Yes.
money into them damn accessories.
Yes.
Them Joy-Cons are what, like $90 or something like that?
Yep.
Kiss.
Which is gonna be 100 plus tax.
Kiss my blank, bro. What?
I think the camera got bumped up to $100 too. Like I think it originally was 50, it got bumped up to like 100 or something like that. And it's like,
let me tell niggas something. If you're gonna buy your kid a Switch, do not get the camera. And I'm not saying that to save you money. I can care less to saving you money. I'm trying to say that don't scar that little kid, because you might think Nintendo as a kid system. Not the case.
The average gamer is 35 years old.
It's gonna be some 35-year-old nigga on the other side of the he ain't gonna get scarred. So don't buy that camera for that kid. Nintendo don't send them ninjas after me. I'm not talking bad about the product. I'm just trying to save these little kids because they're gonna see some stuff they don't want to see, especially if they're gonna be playing Smash and stuff like that. It might get crazy. So all in all, bro, we're not even in 2025. We're only in April. It's the end of April, but we're only in
still in quarter two.
We're still in quarter. So much stuff is about to go on. We got over under GTA 6 might come out on that system. What's the chances
for the Switch 2? Yeah. I mean if they could get Cyberpunk, the entirety of Cyberpunk, including the DLC on a physical cartridge on the Switch 2, small part they could come out on, small part. But the Switch 2 docked is basically a PS4 Pro essentially, and I'm going to make the assumption that GTA 6 is most likely going to have a PS4 edition, maybe because they know most of their audience most likely has not upgraded to a PS5. So I'm going to assume that they might have a PS4 edition. Probably go run like hot trash, or your PS4 is gonna damn near implode on itself, depending on the how crazy that game is graphically. But I think that if it does, it could come out on the Switch 2 for sure. I can see it coming out. I think handheld, that thing is gonna run like but I think docked, it should be fine if it's docked.
They because Microsoft already promised Nintendo Call of Duty will continue to go on that system going forward. So
yeah, and Call of Duty, that can go on the Switch, for sure. So yeah, I'm not too, but yeah, I think Switch 2 from a specifications point is fine, is solid. And I just want one more point before we move on to the next piece of news. A lot of people are saying tariffs. Now, obviously, tariffs have something to do with everything that's been going on as far as like the Switch and all this pre-order debacle. But understand that a lot of companies are going to be using tariffs as an excuse to basically start charging more. So like this isn't 100% it's because of tariffs that the camera now costs more or the Joy-Cons now cost more. This is probably Nintendo going like, well, I mean, we have to increase the price, guys. The tariffs. It's the tariffs. Blame the tariffs. So I just want people to understand that like these gaming companies are salivating, foaming at the mouth. Because remember, the $80 for Mario Kart, $90 for Mario Kart, that was not impacted by tariffs. That was Nintendo saying that they believe that you should be paying $80 for a digital version of Mario Kart World, and also $90 for the physical edition. That was Nintendo saying that, not tariffs. So let's not blame everything on that. Let's have Nintendo take some accountability for being some greedy people. Again, try not to swear. And then let's move on to our next piece of news, which has been going on, which is Marvel Rivals. A lot of drama been going on in the Marvel Rival space this past week. Now, I have been taking healthy little, well, somewhat of a healthy little break from our rivals to play some other games. Hop on it every now and then. Pause, but it. So I wasn't keen, I wasn't hip on what was going on until I saw some Flats videos. So there's a lot of moving parts. You have the Necro situation where he said something about supports, strategists not being good or whatever, and then that was a huge debacle. You had the recent rank, the way they allocate points after competitive matches and ranked. So essentially, right now is it's all performance based, but they kind of average it based off of performances in your rank, which is not good because a rank reset just happened. So people who are in Grandmasters are now in gold. Well, not now, I don't know now because it's been a couple weeks. But when the rank reset happened, people who are in Grandmaster are now in gold. People who are in Celestial are now in plat, so on and so forth. So the average, as far as like what to be expected from playing tank, playing DPS, and playing support, gets skewed because you have more high performing players in these lower ranks. For like, so say for instance, a new player comes into the game and they get to gold and they don't perform as well because the average is so skewed because you had grandmasters in the lobby. So so now you have situations where there are people who play, and the reason what was happening is that DPS was noticeably getting more points compared to tank and compared to healers or supports. So you could end the match by getting like 15 points and then your DPS gets like 24 points, which is not okay. Especially like, say for instance, you're a tank who gets MVP and then you have your 2 and 12 Spider-Man that sells you and he ends up getting 25 points. Like it skews the so like you have a lot of people, this whole thing, this support strike that was going on where a lot of support players were frustrated because not only did you have the point allocation, but like the survivability of a lot of strategists were like it was really bad. So, and it's so bad that the developers had to come out with a report. Basically they're doing like a hot fix, a buff to basically buff a lot of strategists attack. I don't know if that's gonna completely resolve the issue, but I think as far as the point allocation system, and I agree with I was watching a Flats video, I agree with what he said, where he was basically saying that what should happen is that, and what I believe what should happen is that every rank should have an average amount of points you can win off of a game. So let's just say, I'm going to use this as an example. Let's say for if you're in plat, the average points that you can win at a game is like 25, right? You win the game, everybody on your team gets 25 points. However, if you got MVP, you get like 2 extra points. If you performed well within your role, so if you were a strategist, you may not have gotten MVP, but you got really good high healing, you got a lot of ult saves, got a lot of assists or whatever, you get 2 extra points too. So the max you could get potentially is like 27 points, or the minimum you can get is 25 points. Make it an average amount of points that you can get for winning a game, and make it an average amount of points you can get for losing a game, with points getting taken off if you perform well, even though you lost. I think that would be a good way to handle it instead of doing performance based, because again, the margin is skewed because you have people who are in high ranks right now and lower lobbies still trying to climb up after the rank reset. As for the whole Necros drama and things of that nature, I don't have much to say on that besides it's just one dude on the internet. Who cares what he has to say about supports? Obviously, the whole death threat situation is inexcusable. Nobody wants to get death threats, but at the same time, hear me out when I say this fully. It is the internet. A lot of people are keyboard warriors who will type incessantly, "I'm gonna do blank to you and your family." That's all they are, keyboard warriors. And it comes with the territory. I'm pretty sure anybody who has ever said anything on the internet can attest. Anybody who has a following, who's like a content creator, an influencer, a celebrity, whatever, you name it. Anybody who has made a 1-sentence post on social media can tell you that it comes with the territory. Like you're gonna, if you say something that somebody, because I guarantee you, what you say on the internet, there's about 1,000 people who are gonna not only disagree with you, but vehemently disagree with you to the point where they're gonna want to do something, where they're going to want to quote unquote do something to you. So a lot of drama, a lot of moving parts. I probably haven't even covered most of the stuff that's been going on in that community. Suffice to say, just as my predictions, when Marvel Rivals was on the uptick, you guys have become the one thing you've sworn to destroy: the Overwatch community. So welcome, Marvel Rivals. Welcome to the Overwatch experience. Good to have you. Hopefully you don't stay too long. But on to, now that we covered, those are all the news. We if there's anything that we may have missed, let us know in the comment section below. Maybe we can come out with some YouTube shorts or whatever, addressing some of the news stuff, worthy stuff that we have missed. But we're going to move on to our main discussion. This is going to tie into the main game that we've been playing. Me and Datrell have been playing a lot, Expedition 33, with a little bit of some context as far as something that we want to talk about in regards to the game community that we've noticed that this game has kind of stirred up. So I'll let Datrell lead this discussion, and I'll chime in when necessary. So go ahead, Datrell.
So a wonderful thing happened this past week or weeks, and Expedition 33 had dropped. And for a lot of RPG fans, it was extremely anticipated game. Extremely anticipated. And lo and behold, it's a fantastic game. You will hear more of it on our review that's going to come out in a couple days. But fantastic game. Beautiful. Wonderful. Amazing. But just like every amazing thing that comes out, somehow people need to squander it and make topics that don't need to be had. So I was perusing through Twitter like a degenerate does. Should stop doing that, but I can't. I'm a little addicted. And I saw a tweet, and I'm paraphrasing, and it talks about how Expedition 33 is showing big companies, and big companies, people are meaning Square Enix, that turn-based RPGs are still a thing. And if you play games, you will know that sentiment never changed, right? Final Fantasy as a gaming IP has changed, not just with their later iterations, but throughout the whole IP in general, throughout the whole series. Every 4 games, the game changes. Shoot, after 7, there was a new mechanic in every freaking game. But I get to that a little bit later. And it brought out the worst in people talking about how turn-based RPGs are no longer a thing. There is a fruit fly in here, and I can't do nothing about it. But turn-based RPGs are no longer a thing. And I want to say, y'all don't play video games. And as nerdy as that sounds, you don't do it, right? Last year, me and Cam talked about how last year was the year of RPGs and how a bunch of RPGs came out. Before that, the game of the freaking year was a turn-based RPG, and as in Baldur's Gate. But that don't mean Baldur's Gate was the only turn-based RPG that did good. There was other games that, if you look up 25, 24, 2023 games or RPGs, you would find a plethora of games that's like, damn, this is fun. There's certain topics in gaming, and this is what I mean that there is no nuance takes. You can look up the definition of nuance if you want to. different takes. There's no unique takes. There's no let's think outside of the box takes when it comes to gaming. There's three things, right? Sales, Steam numbers, and how is it doing compared to its competitor. As a gamer, we shouldn't care about either of those things. Let's break it down, right? When it comes to sales, the only how you should care if you have a share in said company, if you understand how those sales are going to impact that series, or if you're a dev and your job is on the line, you should not care how much of a game sells, right? Now, you might
I would add on if it's a niche title. I'm talking about like when I talked about the 100-line Last Defense Academy, a game like that, like when they put out a benchmark, like, oh, we sold 100,000 copies, let's say like that, right? From a niche point of view, I think that's important because it tells, like, say for instance, a company like Sega or like Sega when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei, right? Shin Megami Tensei 5 is not going to do Persona 5 numbers. Just not going to do it, right? It's way more niche. Persona's more mainstream. So when Shin Megami Tensei comes out with benchmarks like, oh, we sold 1 million copies, right? It's big because it tells Sega that, hey, you know, this series may not be doing Persona numbers, but compared to Shin Megami Tensei 4, you know what I'm saying? Compared to how much growth this has seen. So I would say, like, when it comes to more niche, very niche titles, sales, for me, I'm not looking at it like, oh, my game is better than your game. I'm looking at it from a point of view of it shows that there are people who want to see more of this set product.
I agree with that. I'm gonna get to that point in a few seconds. Also, I want to say is there's another smaller thing if your game needs a community to thrive. Now, there's games that's like Enzoy, the sim competitor, that needs a thriving community. So if you're looking at the sales and saying, okay, this game needs to sell more because that needs a thriving community, because once Enzoy is done with basically, you know, making the game better, mods and stuff is going to carry the rest of that game through wherever it is going to be in that future. Happened with Sims, and for the people who buy Sims DLCs, you bogus. But it happened with Sims. It happens with a lot of. And then on the other hand, a fighting game, that community matters more than anything because most people are competitive and they play that game online. So I understand if you care about sales on that aspect. Another thing, when it comes to Steam numbers, when I say, I'm gonna say this to you, Jimmy. If the game came out on Game Pass and PlayStation, the last thing you're gonna see is them damn Steam numbers being so high, right? Especially if it's a new IP. Now, you're gonna bring up Monster Hunter. Those games are fantastic. Those games also have a thriving PC community. Like the Monster Hunter games do. Baldur's Gate, yes. And all the other games that you'll bring up on the Steam charts is going to have a thriving PC community, right? Final Fantasy VII, and I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, do not have a thriving PC community. People who bought Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth on PC literally bought it because they said, I want to see this game look better. And I want to see Tifa's tits without a shirt on them. That's it. They didn't buy that game because they're a PC only nigga and they really want to play. Maybe, but that's like mine. So if you see 10,000 people playing Final Fantasy VII right now, I would say that's a good thing. Because one, they must really like them Tifa mods. And two, the game is still getting played, and it's about to be 2 years old soon.
Yeah.
Second.
And most people
Oh.
who bought the Steam version of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth played it on PS5.
And the last thing, comparing. This is another thing I want to hold your hand. Comparing a game. Comparing, I would say, Expedition 33, a game that has one of the highest, top 5 highest scores on Metacritic user. And people like to review bomb everything these days.
Yep.
You comparing that to any other turn-based or non-turn-based RPG, it's like you're putting stats just to make a narrative. It's not going to work. Like, I'm not stupid. Like, people on the internet that they might be a little stupid. I'm not stupid. I personally know right now, concurrently, this game is going to have more people playing on Steam than that game. But if you want to delve in the deep of seeing which game is better, you're not going to know how to have that conversation. Even though, to be honest with you, because you're not going to beat both games. I'm just going to keep it a beam. A lot of niggas who play these games play them off of pure FOMO.
Hype beast culture.
And they don't want to miss out. Okay? Same thing. Elden Ring, there's a lot of niggas who don't got trophies for beating, not even Mekala or whatever, Melania. There's a lot of people who haven't beat Margit. There's a lot of people who haven't beat Renala. Because they played that game, because everybody else was talking about it, realized that game wasn't for them, and then they hopped on 2K, and then they hopped on Madden, and then they hopped on Call of Duty. A lot of people are about to realize, hey, I just got one-shotted because I don't understand this parry system in this game. I'm done playing this. And they about to go back and hop on Call of Duty, and they about to go hop back on 2K. The conversation we should be having about Expedition and any great game that come out is not what Square Enix should do better, or it's not this thing is saving turn-based RPGs, because it's not. Keep it a bean. This game is amazing. Look, spoiler alert, I'm giving this joint like a 9.8 off the bat. But it ain't do anything too crazy on the turn-based part of it, right?
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, man.
Like,
It's just y'all don't play video games. I've just said y'all don't play video games, because you would know that like a lot of the inspiration from this game comes from like games like the Paper Mario series, Mario and Luigi. Hell, a Mario and Luigi brother game came out last year. I talked about it on our top 10 RPG list, Mario and Luigi Brothership. That is a turn-based game in which you have to press certain button prompts to deal additional damage, do more moves in a skill, or to mitigate damage.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? That was a turn-based game that came out last year in November. So this is fairly recent. And for the Square Enix argument about Square Enix needs to understand the value of turn-based RPGs, Octopath Traveler 2, Fantasy Neo Dimension, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D Remaster, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD Remaster, which is coming out later on this year. Y'all don't play games. You don't. Because you just look at what's the most famous Square Enix product? Final Fantasy? Square doesn't care about RPGs anymore. And the reason why Final Fantasy is shifting towards a more action-based gameplay is because, one, it's their most popular IP, and they want to continue to draw a crowd not only from just people already established fans of the franchise, but they want to bring in a new audience. And most audiences, whether y'all want to admit it or not, even though Expedition 33 is doing absolutely fantastic, is doing great, most people don't like turn-based RPGs. They don't like it. I call it the One Piece syndrome, where, you know, the common phrase you hear when it comes to people not watching One Piece. One Piece is 1,000 episodes long. I'm not going to watch it. I don't like playing turn-based RPGs because I don't want to sit and wait for my turn. Most people don't play or want to play turn-based RPGs. And so you realizing that, what do you as a company that has a long-running franchise that wants to introduce a new crowd to your franchise in order to keep it up and to keep making more of that franchise, you have to adapt to the times. And action-based gameplay is what it is. Like Expedition 33 is still, even if you want to say it is not your traditional turn-based RPG, it is a more modern take of a more action-oriented turn-based RPG, because I guarantee you, if Expedition 33 didn't have the mechanics it had when it came to button prompts and mitigating damages with parrying, dodging, jumping, all these really good mechanics that they have, and it was just your standard like Final Fantasy 1, press attack, defend to block damage, game would have been dead. Dead on arrival. So needless to say, I'll let you go back to your point, Datrell, after I'm done with this. This reminds me of the Wukong situation, where instead of people talking about Wukong as a game, the thing that people saw, this game is successful because it's not woke. It's not a woke video game. That's why it's successful. Instead of people actually talking about the story, the gameplay, how they felt about Chapter 4, how they felt about the boss fights, what were your favorite boss encounters, how did you feel about the OST? Like, instead of talking about the actual game itself, it was like this just high school hierarchy jock circle jerk BS of, my game has higher Steam concurrent numbers, my game has the highest rating Metacritic store. Cares, man? How do you feel about the game? What about the game itself do you like? Like, let's have a conversation about gaming, not the stuff that surrounds it, but let's have a conversation about why is this game really good, instead of trying to, it just feels like this hype beast culture of, I want to make sure, well, the iPhone sold more, or I have green bubbles and you have blue bubbles. And like, it's just like, can we talk about the actual video game itself instead of things surrounding it? So I think it just gets lost in this annoyance of my game. Like, it feels like everybody has this annoying main character syndrome when it comes to their favorite video games, where if it isn't the best at everything, if it isn't the best on Steam, if it isn't the best on console, if it isn't the best on Metacritic, if it's not being talked about on Reddits and Discords and Twitters, then the game sucks. And there's no nuance. There's no room for, well, this game, because, spoiler alert, Expedition 33 is doing great on Steam right now. It's not going to be doing great a month later when people are done beating the game and move on to other stuff. So will you use the same argument a month later when Expedition 33 has less concurrent players playing it to say that, well, does the game suck then? Is it a terrible game now because there's not a lot of people playing it? Like, when does it stop? Like, it's weird, but I'll let you keep going on, Datrell. I want to just add that.
No, and you brought it to a good place in where I really wanted to have the conversation at. It's like, the reason I think it's important to have these conversations about like the nuance of video gaming is major people don't talk about the games anymore. They talk about what can get them the most interactions, right? When we talked about gaming growing up, not even growing up, dog, like 5 to 10 years ago, like when we talked about that the game and we talked about what made it good, like the hype moments that came from out of it. When we first played God of War. When we first played God of War 2018, right? When the game dropped, nobody talked about why did his son not swole. Nobody talked about. Eventually, the conversations became about, oh, why Kratos so somber. I mean, guess what we talked about? We talked about Baldur versus Kratos.
Yep.
And how it was an amazing fight. Amazing fight. I remember on my way home from work, and I was skeptical about buying the game. And then I saw 3 seconds of that fight, and I was like, I'm buying it. And then a conversation went on from there. Like, when we talk about Persona 5, right? The Persona fan base are funny now, because now niggas realizing they fawning over high schoolers. But when we talk about Persona 5, if Persona 5 when it came out right now, people will have a whole stupid. I don't even want to bring up what people will say about that game.
Persona 5 has more current player base than Expedition 33. It's the better turn-based game.
We're not going to talk about at that time the art direction. We're not going to talk about at that time the OST and how that was like damn near the backbone for getting people into that game was that music. We're not going to talk about the depth system of personas and the demons that you create and stuff like that. It was amazing, right? And my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy. I always got to get the number right, 15, right? I always tell people that. And people go to play that game. People ask me, why the heck is that your favorite game? Look, don't worry about it. But I did not base my enjoyment from that game on what other people said, right? I based that enjoyment off of me putting 600 hours in it before Royal Edition, right? I understand the problems that the game had off launch. I understand what people was expecting out of a Final Fantasy game, woo up the champ. But I love that game for my experience. No one is loving games off their experience no more. They loving it off of the experience they favorite content creator has.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm not gonna say any content creators' names. Cam does better with those comments than I do. I don't. But people like will say, well, such and such said it was woke. Who cares? Nigga, is it woke to you? What do that mean to you? Like, did you play the game? Do you understand why this character is the way this character is? Like, did you enjoy it?
Call it the death battle syndrome.
Yeah,
when people go like, well, Death Battle said Superman would be Goku.
Superman also got shot by a kryptonite bullet. Do I care? No. Like, people don't have their own opinions anymore, and that's what I want back in gaming, bro. Like, that's what I want. And I'm not talking about strong opinions on. I don't want to create an argument. I want to create a discussion. Like, let's talk about it, bro. Like, there's so many games that's coming out. Like, if niggas, jokes is fun. Let's have jokes. We can joke about video games. But Death Stranding is coming out. If you seriously just see that game as a walking simulator, it's not gonna. You're taking that opinion that somebody else had, framing it in your noggin, and now I can't play this game because it's too much walking. What is that? Like, I can't. No, that's not you. You're going to miss out on so much. 2015, whenever the PlayStation came out, Last of Us, Mortal Kombat X, and GTA 5 was the only 3 games I had on my PS4. 2014, 2015, whenever I had it, right? I was able to console share with Cam. Cam put me on other games. And from that on, it was like, I understand it now. Like, I understand why people like different genres in their games. And now, because of me being able to play the personas when it dropped, because me being able to play the games that I grew up on, like the GTAs and all that type of stuff, and all other new games like roguelites and puzzle games and dog, I have like I'm about to say a game that probably nobody heard of, but I enjoy it because it's fun, it's different. Nobody ever heard of a game called Thank Goodness You Here? It's like a British game. It's small. It's like 2 hours. It's freaking amazing, right? But I enjoy that game. If I want to have the same opinions of games that people on the internet have, that game would be a 0 out of 10 in my book because like 5 people played it. But no, it's an amazing game because it don't take itself seriously. It's funny. It's 2 hours. It's puzzles. They make jokes. It's goofy, and that's what's up. Last thing I want to bring up is that, and then you can take it all however you want to take it after this. You guys, gamers don't know the Pandora box that they can open, right? We are not playing turn-based RPG. I mean, we are. The reason we're not playing turn-based RPG Final Fantasy games is because y'all voted with y'all wallets previously with other Final Fantasy games. With what? And Cam, you can talk about it more than I can. When 10 came out and the voice dubs wasn't the way people liked it, niggas clowned the game. Niggas laughed at it and said the game, the game is not as good as all the other films. The voice, and now look what okay, guess what Square said? I hear that. We're gonna put more voice acting in our game. Boom. All the other Final Fantasies that didn't sell well, the turn-based ones, the later series. Okay, these Final Fantasies are not selling well. What possibly can we do? Let's turn them into turn-bases. It's a reason why now in video games, everybody climb up a wall like fucking Nathan Drake. Because everybody was looking at Uncharted and being like, hey,
everybody got a grappling hook.
That's a reason that all of our PS3 games are known for over-the-shoulder third person. Because niggas saw Last of Us take over the freaking nation and was like, you know what? We got to do it too. You guys control what you want. And to say that, gaming is this, gaming is this, game is that, you guys control it. If you want Square to make more turn-based RPGs, buy them.
How many people? Again, how many people played Fantasy? I'm trying to pronounce this right. Fantasian Neo Dimension. This was, for those who don't know, this game came out last year. This was a game that was, I think it was developed by the person that was on the development team for the original Final Fantasy. I might be wrong on this. I might have to do some more research, but he worked on Final Fantasy games. And so this was a brand new IP, turn-based, by the way, that Square Enix launched. How many people played it? How many people played Romancing Saga, the Romancing Saga remake? How many people played the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake? How many people played Octopath Traveler? Octopath Traveler 2, Live Alive. These turn-based RPGs that Square Enix has been dropping year after year. How many of you guys who are saying they don't care about it anymore? Hell, how many people have played the Pixel remasters?
Bro, one, you know what's crazy about that? I'm like, hey, I enjoy Final Fantasy. You know, like I said, 15 is my favorite game of all time. But I should see how the Final Fantasy series started. So you know what I did? I bought the Pixel remaster, and I think I'm on 6 or 5 right now, and I enjoyed it because I'm not letting a nigga who don't play video games tell me, Final Fantasy 2 wasn't as good as 1, but 3, that one's the one everybody else. Like, no, I don't care. I don't care. Enjoy it, bro. Enjoy these things. Because I'm going to keep it a bean. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. if you don't experiment, it's gonna take some crash and burns, dog. Me and Cam both do it. Dog, our PlayStation catalog, not talking about our Switch, not talking about his Xbox or our Steam accounts. Our PlayStation catalog combined off of individual purchases, because we game share, but off of individual purchases, our PlayStar catalog combined is probably at 2,000.
Yeah.
We got burnt a lot out of them 2,000. We got a couple of games we ain't get out the prologue out of that 2,000, bro. Like but it takes that to curate what you like. It also takes that to find things that you didn't know you like. Nigga, I didn't know I like Dungeons and Dragons. I still technically don't, but I like the series to an extent. Guess what I had to do? I had to play Baldur's Gate to find that out.
Yep.
Right? I didn't know I liked the turn-based games. Guess what I did? I played Persona. Real talk, I played Persona 5 to find out how much I like turn-based games, right? Like, oh my God. The real-time strategy games. Dog. Nigga, I always like to tell people, I'm the last person in you expect to like a real-time strategy RPG, bro. Like, but I play them joints, bro. I play them. Like, not even just that. I play tactical games. I play what would you consider Warhammer? Like not 40K. I'm talking about like Warhammer when you play with the elves and you map them joints out and go, and then it turns to a real.
Yeah.
Like I play them joints. I play Civilization. Like, and the reason I do that and the reason I'm playing these joints is because I opened the game. I'm like, let me try something new. I don't care what these people think. So do it. You guys control whatever. Like gamers can control however the conversation shifts. And like shout out to all the people I see. I can't think of the names right now, but on my For You page on TikTok, that I see fighting a good fight to keep the conversation in gaming about gaming, bro. Like you see, there's this one dude who got the I can't think of him if it's a TikTok. I mean, if I put this for like a TikTok or a short, I'll put the guy down at the bottom of it. But like there's this one dude who will combat anybody, like I said, better than me, but will intelligently tell these people how they're wrong about a video game and then bring up receipts, right? Then you got the other guys, the guy that uses disc as his microphone, who challenge the things people say, uses receipts. You know, y'all got patience of a god, because I don't. I want to see these niggas face to face. Let's have this conversation face to face. You know, but let's please. I just want to keep gaming about gaming. It was so much fun going to school when I was a shorty and talking about a game, talking about getting 5 stars on GTA. Not if the female is the protagonist is a female.
Or how many copies did GTA San Andreas sell on the PS2? Like,
bro, when we used to play all the Raw versus SmackDowns and come back to school and talk about the created character, talk about this, talk about that. Man, not if it met its sales margin. What's the Steam numbers for it? What do I look like, bro? But that's it. I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. If Cam got anything to say, go ahead. But that's it for me. I'm gonna get a headache because the more I talk, the more I think, the more I get mad. But last thing for me, just keep gaming about gaming. Like, I hate to tell you, every game is political. Every game is about someone's thoughts on politics. God damn it. If you ask the creator of Mario why Mario was saving Princess Peach, I'm pretty sure he's going to tell you about some story when he was a kid or something like that, bro. Like, it is what it is, dog. It is what it is. So, that's it for me.
Yeah. I think the last thing I'll add is, this might sound a bit contradictory coming from us, because we are trying to turn this into somewhat of a career job with the Tweeking Media channel. Have fun, man. A lot of y'all treat video games like a job. And and I don't. It's weird. I don't know. And I think that's why we can't have these conversations about like when a game is popular instead of talking about the reasons as to through the gameplay why the game is popular. We're talking about sales figures and things that are in concurrent player based numbers. We're not talking about the actual game itself. So let's get back to having fun playing video games, man.
Please.
Let's get back to having fun doing that, man. Obviously, and again, a part of the nuance is understanding that while there are some good, there's also some bad. So if there are some things you play Expedition 33 and you're like, I don't like this about this, I'm gonna bring up some things that some small nitpicks that I have during our review that I have about the game. But guess what? That doesn't mean I hate the game, because a lot of people for some reason have this weird fascination or this weird line of thinking where if you say something bad about something that you enjoy, that you hate it. That's called critiquing. That's not just because I can love Expedition 33, I can sing its praises, but there are some things about it that I don't really like, that I would love to see some improvements, maybe a patch update or something like that, or if they ever decide to make another product, something that I'd love to see them, and if they make a sequel or a totally different game, it comes with the territory. It is an art form, and art forms can be critiqued. So again, just understand that nuance is a good thing, nuance is important, and that in the gaming community it is desperately needed, because you guys have turned this thing that we used to love talking about at the playground during lunchtime into this hype beast culture fest, and it needs to stop. But let us know what you think about our main discussion in the comment sections below. What do you think about what we said in regards to how the gaming community is treating the success of Expedition 33, the conversations around Expedition 33? What are some things that you've noticed that we may not have touched upon? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I want to know. Drop it down in the comments below, and I will respond accordingly. But I think, because I don't have any clowns. Do you have any clowns, Datrell?
Nah, bro. You know me. If I start saying clowns, I'm gonna start getting mad. That's what happens.
So we're gonna go ahead and end things off of that note. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. We were a little bit late, but life things happen. But we said we were gonna do it, and we're gonna continue doing it. So be sure to show us some support, show us some love once again by liking the video, commenting, subscribing to the channel if you have not, clicking on that bell icon to stay notified of all future posts, and sharing this video. That's the most important thing too. It helps combat the YouTube algorithm, and as the more engagement that you guys give us, the more engagement you give us with these videos, the better the growth at. And I've noticed that some of our recent videos, we've been getting some comments, which I highly appreciate. That I like it. Again, it shows engagement. It shows YouTube that, hey, start promoting this video out to other people so they can know that it's Black Kings in Chicago trying to make a career out of this. And the only way we can do it is with you guys' support. So highly appreciate it. And thank you in advance for all of that. So be on the lookout again for future Gacha on the Gacha content this week. Our review that is going to drop for Expedition 33 later on this week. And also our other sports podcast for Threes from the Ring. Look on it, stay on the lookout for that if you're interested in any sports, wrestling stuff. If you're a nerd in that aspect, we got you covered. We got a lot of content that's there for you all to engage and indulge in. Well, that being said, guys, God bless. See you next time.
Vita's in.